WAN technologies. PPPoE, that means point to point over Ethernet. This point to point over Ethernet protocol provides extensive user management and network management and accounting benefits to ISPs and network administrators also. So currently this PPPoE is used mainly by ISPs to control client connection for XDSL and cable modems as well as plain Ethernet networks. PPPoE is an extension of the standard point-to-point protocol, and the difference between them is expressed in transport method. PPPoE employs Ethernet instead of serial modem connection, and the PPPoE client and server work over any layer 2 Ethernet level interface on the router. Just like PPP is for the serial connection, this gives the same features on normal Ethernet, and that is why it is called PPPoE, point-to-point protocol over Ethernet. Now, for configuring this point-to-point over Ethernet, it uses server and client method. So, PPPoE requires BBA, that is Broadband Access Group, which is used to establish the PPPoE sessions, and this is where you can configure session limitation per client, and such you can create multiple BBA groups or use the global BBA groups. So when we configure this, so first we configure the server who is going to give the PPPoE connection, where we can manage the connection for the clients, and for that we create these broadband access groups, which is called BBA. So the configuration is simple: BBA group PPPoE global, and then you will mention server configure, you will mention the virtual template. Then the virtual template is where we configure some other PPP related settings. So first we mention the group, and in the group we mention the template name, and then we create the virtual template where we mention the other configuration settings related to PPP. So interface virtual template 1, in that we configure the interface which we are using as a PPP connection, accept PPP connections. Then where we configure peer default IP address pool, the pool we will create after this. Then we set the PPP authentication, and then configure the local pool and create username and password. Then we'll create the local pool, that is which we have mentioned here in this command, and then we mention the username and password who can access the PPPoE connection. Then the last thing we have to do is to enable the BBA group to group on the interface that connects to the client. Then we mention the interface here in this command. Then we enable the interface with the IP address, and we mention PPPoE enable group and global. Then we'll go to the client who wants to join the PPPoE connection. We can create dialer interface by running interface dialer number command in configuration mode by using interface dialer and number of the interface. Then configuring the client to use an IP address provided by the PPPoE server by using the IP address negotiated command, and encapsulate it with PPP using encapsulation PPP command. Then configure the dialer pool by running the dialer pool command, and configure the physical interface by using the PPPoE client dial pool number command. Then we verify. For verifying, we can check the interface detail, or we can check this PPPoE session information. Let's see how we can configure it. Okay, so this router I will use as a PPPoE server, and for the client we can use normal router as a client, we can use wireless router as a also PPP client. Remember, it gives access to the local Ethernet, normal Ethernet cable, it is not it is actually point to point protocol over Ethernet. So I am connecting these devices by using the Ethernet port. So I have used the switch to connect these two different devices, and we will configure this as a server. We can use this client as a this router as a client. We can use even this router as a client. So these ISPs use this to give access to the clients who wants to have access of internet. So through the LAN cable they can give the access to these clients by using this PPPoE. And mostly we get a cable connection, cable internet connection on our homes. We get this connection to our wireless router. So it basically comes from the PPPoE. So let's see how we can configure it on the server first. So on this router, first what we will do, first command is to create the group. DBA group and then PPOE, this is for the type, and then you mention the group. So I'll say global. Global, that means this is PPOE global group. And we are into that configuration of BBA. Now here we will mention the command virtual template, where we mention the template interface number. Virtual template to clone the form, and here we will mention the interface number. Now we'll exit from here and we will create this virtual template by using interface command. Number 1, which we mentioned here, and then IP unnumbered interface. Now here we will mention the interface which we are going to give the access. In this I'm using which interface? I am using this interface, first Ethernet 0/0. So I will mention fast Ethernet 0/0. Then here we will mention peer, default IP. We are not using IPv6. And address. So for IP addresses I will mention pool. So whenever any client connects to this PPOE server, it will get the IP address from this pool. Now pool, we will mention the pool name here. So pool name will be this. Authentication. Now after this we have to configure the interface, which interface we have mentioned here in this parameter, in this virtual template command. So interface we mention is this fast Ethernet 0/0. Okay, first we'll create the pool which we mentioned there, and with the range of IP addresses. So I'm going to use the IP range of from here last first to last 50. So this is going to be the pool. Then you should create the username which you want to allow access to users, to clients, like who wants to access the PPOE connection server. So I will mention like, okay, user 1 and password ABC B. I will create one more user, user 2, password ABC. Then we will configure the interface. Interface fast Ethernet 0/0, IP address from the same range, then PPOE to enable on this interface, and then no shutdown. Now it is done. Now we can check it. We can see how we can connect it from the client side. Now first, let's say this is my wireless router and I want to use this to connect the internet. I want to use the PPPoE connection to connect the internet. So I connected this line to the internet port of this wireless router. Now I'll go to the wireless router on GUI, and here first I will set up the internet connection. So in the internet setup you will select what? PPOE. So when you select PPPoE, it asks the username and password which we have created on the server. So we can mention user 1, password ABCD. And then we will say save. And we will check the status. As you can see here in the status, it says PPPoE connection and it is connected, and the IP it is getting is what? 80.0.0.4. It is the IP from the same range which we have configured on our server. That means it is now getting the connection from PPOE. And any device which connects to this router can get the access of internet or can go to this network. It is connected. And it can access the devices from the other side. In the other side, we have these machines, these network. Let's try to connect this sub network. We can check PPOE sessions, and it shows here that there is one connection is there. One session is locally terminated and is total 1. And also we can use this router as a PPPoE client also. And for that, we can configure this. We can configure the router by using these commands, by using the dialer command. We create the interface dialer, then on that interface we set the IP address as negotiated, we set the encapsulation as PPP, we configure the dialer pool, then we configure which interface is connected. This interface with PPPoE dialer option. So interface dialer 1, IP address negotiated, encapsulation PPP, and dialer pool 1. Exit from that interface, and then interface fast Ethernet, and first we check which interface it is. Fast Ethernet 0/0. And dial pool number 1, and it is up. And this one is also now become client. And it is again virtual access 1.2 is up, and now we can see there is two connections are there now. One is from the virtual Wi-Fi router, and the other one is from the other router. This is PPPoE, which is also used for WAN connections. Then there is an option which is called virtual private network. Now this virtual private network extends a private network across a public network, such as the internet, and it enables users to send and receive data across shared or public network as if their computing devices were directly connected to the private network. Application running across the VPN may therefore benefit from the functionality, security, and management of the private network. Virtual private network VPN may allows employees to securely access a corporate internet intranet while located outside the office, and they are used to securely connect geographically separated offices of an organization and creating one cohesive network. A VPN is created by establishing a virtual point-to-point connection through the use of dedicated connection, virtual tunneling protocol, or traffic encryption. A VPN available from the public internet can provide some of the benefits of wide area network. From user perspective, the resources available within the private network can be accessed remotely. Very simple. This VPN do what? It gives you access of your local network, office corporate network, through the internet. Now when you want to connect the two corporate offices, then what you do, you use WAN connections. WAN connection lease lines. Lease lines are secure because nobody can use that line. This is the what dedicated line. It is called private WAN. This is dedicated line for you. Nobody can use that line. ISP will give you a dedicated link for it. Now that things are very expensive. Those WAN links lease lines are very expensive. Now suppose if you are having a single 2-3 users who's working on site and they are regularly going outside of your office building. Now they want to join, they want to do continue connection on their servers on the office building. Now we can't give them what lease line to every separate users to connect to this. It will be very expensive. So what we can use public WAN, which is internet. But using the public WAN is not secure. So we can use this VPN technology to connect securely those normal users, those users who wants to have access of the resources available in the office by using the internet, but by using securely. For securely, that means we use this VPN by the with the tunneling technology. Tunneling technology, that means it will create the virtual tunnel within the public internet and create the virtual private network. That is why it is called VPN, virtual private network. It actually creates the private network, virtually private network with the public network, public internet. What is the benefit of this? These are the advantages of VPN. First, enhanced security. When you connect to the network through a VPN, the data is kept secured and encrypted, and this way the information is away from hackers' eyes. Remote control. In case of a company, the great advantage of having a VPN is that the information can be accessed remotely, even from home or from any other place. That's why VPN can increase productivity within a company. Share files. A VPN service can be used if you have a group that needs to share files for a long period of time. And also we get the online anonymity. Through the VPN you can browse the web in complete anonymity compared to hide IP software or web proxies. The advantage of a VPN service is that it allows you to access both web application and websites in complete anonymity. Anonymity, that means it uses what encryption technologies create, the tunneling technology, so that the destination machine don't know that who is accessing it, because the data is what completely encrypted. Then unblock websites and bypass the filter. As you see, if you access those websites anonymously, then what happen? You can bypass the block sites also. Like suppose some sites are blocked and somebody is, if your government or your provider is not allowing you to access those sites, then you can use this. You can bypass those filters, you can bypass those firewalls by using the VPN. These VPNs are great for accessing blocked websites or for bypassing the internet filters, and this is why there is an increased number of VPN services used in countries where internet censorship is applied. Change IP addresses. If you need an IP address from another country, then a VPN can provide you this also. By using the different countries freely available VPN servers, we can use their IP addresses. Better performance, bandwidth and efficiency of the network can be generally increased once a VPN solution is implemented. Reduce the cost. So once VPN network is created, the maintenance cost is very low. More than that, if you opt for a service provider, the network setup and surveillance is no more a concern, because lease lines are very expensive. Then VPN categories. These are different categories of VPN we have. First, remote access VPN. Remote access VPN, which we normally configured mostly to allow the users to connect to a private network and access its services and resources remotely. The connection between the user and the private network happens through the internet, and the connection is secure and private. Side to side VPN, we can also use this side to side to it is called as router to router VPN and is mostly used in the corporates. Companies with offices in different geographical location use side to side VPN to connect the network of one office location to the network at another office location by using the internet. Then we can use external VPN. An external based VPN connects LAN to LAN between multiple companies such as customers and suppliers so that they can work in a shared environment. Now these are the VPN protocols which we use to create the tunnel, because the tunneling is very important here. Layer 2 forwarding. This is layer 2 forwarding is a tunneling protocol developed by Cisco System in company to establish virtual private network connections over the internet. This is called L2F also. L2F does not provide encryption or confidentiality by itself. It relies on the protocol being tunneled to provide privacy. And L2F was specifically designed to tunnel point-to-point protocol traffic. Then point-to-point tunneling protocol. This point-to-point tunneling protocol, that means PPTP, is an absolute method for implementing virtual private networks with many known security issues, and PPTP uses a control channel over TCP and GRE tunnel operating to encapsulate the PPP packets. Then we have layer 2 tunneling protocol, that is called L2TP, and this is a tunneling protocol used to support virtual private networks or as a part of the delivery of service by ISVs. It does not provide any encryption or confidentiality by itself. Rather, it relies on an encryption protocol that is processed within the tunnel to provide the privacy. Then we have generic routing encapsulation. This GRE is a tunneling protocol developed by Cisco Systems that can encapsulate a wide variety of network layer protocols inside virtual point-to-point links over an internet protocol network. Then internet protocol security, that is IPsec. This is a protocol suite for secure internet protocol communication. Works by authenticating and encrypting each IP packet of a communication session. This IPsec includes protocols for establishing mutual authentication between agents to the beginning of the session and negotiation of cryptographic keys for use during the session. This IPsec can protect data flows between a pair of hosts, that means host to host, between a pair of security gateways, that is network to network, or between a security gateway and a host, that is network to host. This internet protocol security uses cryptographic security service to protect the communication over internet protocol network. This IPsec supports network level peer authentication, data origin authentication, data integrity, data confidentiality, that is encryption, and reply protection. This security protocol. Now security protocol is what? IPsec. This IPsec suite is an open standard, and IPsec uses the following protocol to perform the various functions. First, authentication header. This authentication header is a member of the IPsec protocol suite, AH. This AH guarantees connectionless integrity and data origin authentication of IP packets. Further, it can optionally protect against replay attacks by using the sliding windows technique and discarding old packets. In IPv4, the AH protects the IP payload and all header fields of an IP datagram except for mutable fields. That is those that might be altered in transmit, and also IP options such as the IP security options. Then we have encapsulating security payload. This encapsulating security payload is primarily designed to provide encryption, authentication, and protection service for the data or payload that is being transferred in an IP network. ESP doesn't protect the packet header. However, in a tunnel mode, if the entire packet is encapsulated within another packet, As a payload data packet, it can encrypt the entire packet residing inside another packet. And typically in an IP network packet, the ESP header is placed after the IP header. And the component of an ESP header includes sequence number, payload data, padding, next header, and integrity check and sequence number. Then encryption. Now VPN traffic is encrypted by the sender and decrypted by the receiver. This is end-to-end encryption, makes sure that data transferring via VPN remains confidential. The method used for encryption and decryption depends on the VPN protocol you are using. And of course, sender and receiver must have the common encryption key so they can understand each other. Now, without the encryption key, even the intercepted data has no value to the hacker who has gained access to the traffic. So for encryption, these are the types of encryption of VPN. 3DES, it is also called triple DES. This 3DES is an old as blowfish, but it is a product of federal bureaucracy, which is the main difference between these methods. Blowfish is also faster than 3DES. It is also used by OpenVPN. Then we have AES in 128. 128 bit is a way more secure than Blowfish, and its better performance make it a better option for OpenVPN protocol. It is mainly popular because of compatibility. Then we have IPsec. IPsec provide end-to-end encryption between the sender and receiver. IPsec is mainly used for L2PT connection, and as the name suggests, it encrypts data on IP packet level. Then we have MPPE. This MPPE refers to Microsoft point-to-point encryption. It is mainly used in dial-up connection and PPTP connection. MPPE offers link encryption between sending and receiving routers. Then AES in 256. Now 256, that means this AES is 256 bit using encryption of 256 bit. This is mainly used by OpenVPN, SSTP and IKE-v2 version 2 VPN protocol, and is one of the most secure encryption standard, and US government uses this encryption for high level communication. Now configuring this remote access VPN. Now remote access VPN, that means we are having our resources in our building and we want to give access to VPN client. Now client, that means a normal machine which is want to access the normal resources, local resources of our local network. That is what, like web server, file server, whatever we have kept it into our local environment, but we want to give the access to normal client who wants to access it from the remote location. Now remote location, we can't afford to give them a lease line, so they will able to connect the network from internet, but internet is not secure, so we'll give them a connection using the VPN. So we can configure the VPN connection on our router, and these clients can use this VPN connection to connect to this corporate environment. So let's see how we can configure this. First I will create this design. So this is our design. So we have this corporate network here where we have web server, file servers available, and we have a client which is trying to connect these resources which is available in our corporate network from the internet. So we are assuming like it is connected from the internet, from this interface of the router, and from this interface of the router we are connected to the corporate network. So we will configure this router as a VPN router, and this client will be configured as a VPN client. Okay, now on this client I will configure the IP address. I'll not configure the gateway because it is not it is connected to internet. It will use this VPN to connect. So first let's configure the router and these IP addresses on the router. Okay, so IP addresses are configured. Now we can configure the VPN. So for configuring the VPN, first we have to enable the new access control with this command AAA new model in the global configuration mode. Then AAA authentication login, we will use this name as a login remote local. This will be the name. Then AAA authorization network, I am using the again name remote for the local login. Then we should create the username for the users to get access. We create the users and password to allow the access. Then we create the policy, secure policy for your VPN connection. Crypto policy, encryption, what encryption we want to use. We are using AES 256 mode. Authentication, group, lifetime access, what is how much access time we want to give. Then we configure the client configuration. For the client configuration group, we are using the same name. Then we use the username, we use the password, then we use the pool name. Then these names we have to mention, these names we have to create. Then we set the IPsec parameters here by using the crypto command. Transfer set, my set, what encryption we are using. Then we are using crypto dynamic map, we are using this map name map we will use this name, we can use any name here. Then we use this transform set name, my set. Then we mention these here what we have created, that we will map those client map with these different options for client, for authentication, for authorization, for client configuration addresses, for IPsec dynamic mapping. Then finally we create the pool of IP addresses to allocate, and then we go to the interface, which interface is connected to the WAN network for to the internet, and we assign the map, client map, which we configured here. So let's see what we do now. AAA new model enable, AAA authentication, login, and name I will mention remote, local. Local means we are using local username as a authentication. Again local for the database. This is to enable the AAA authentication. Then username and password. This is simple password, or you can create secure password by using secret command. So using secret command is better because it will create the secure encrypted password. Then after this, policy number, encryption 256-bit AES, and then group of encryption. And then lifetime. And exit from here. And then key and pool. Okay, this is encryption IPsec methods. And then cryptodynamic map. And then okay, now crypto map, named client map, and client authentication list is remote the list which we have mentioned previously. Then again crypto map, client map. ISAC EMP authorization list also remove. Then again crypto map, client map, configuration address, respond. And then finally map, crypto map, client map. And the name for the dynamic list, that is dynamic now we create the pool. The range. Now range, what range we will give here in the pool, that means when anyone connects the VPN, then it will get the IP pool which is local. That means when this client connects through VPN, so it will get this range of IP. That means this 192.168 range, so that it can connect these local servers as a local. So it will look like it is connecting locally, but it is connecting from remote location. So the pool which we create for this VPN will be this range. This is whatever our corporate network range is. So pool range will be 192.168. The same range. Let's say I will give from 100 to 192.168.128. So in the pool I'm giving this range. Now finally we'll go to interface. Which interface we want to have the access of the VPN clients. So which interface is, it is this interface, fast Ethernet 0/1. And then crypto map, and then the map which we have created here, which is this is what we applied, and when we applied it gets on, and it is now accepting the connection of VPN on that interface. Now we can join this VPN client and we can try to connect this from this VPN client. We can try to connect this VPN router and through the VPN connection. Now how you will do this, you will go to client machine, and this is what in the packet tracer we have option here to connect the VPN. So we click on this, it opens here. Now here we have to mention the name of the group, then the key which we configured on that, then the IP address for the server. The server IP address is this 10.0.0.1 because from here it is going to be connect. Then username and password which we created on this VPN server, and then we will connect it. So first group, the group name is what, remote. Key was Cisco. Host IP address is this. Username is user1. Password is VPC. And I will try to connect. And what it says, VPN is connected. And you can see it is connected. And remember, we have not mentioned the gateway here. Not mention the gateway, that means it is not going through this router, it is going through VPN. So I will try to ping the server. This is connected again. Because it is packet tracer, so it got disconnected. Now again it is connected. Let me try to access the browser directly. Okay, it is giving the access of the browser, the server, web server. This is a web server, this is a website is coming from this web server. So we can access it because we are connected through the VPN. And now it is getting the reply also. So it is getting the ping reply also because we connected through the VPN. So this client is connected through the VPN tunnel to this local corporate. This is what VPN configuration, and this is how client can join the VPN connection.